But what if I told you that luck had nothing to do with it? What if David walked into that valley already knowing he was going to win? What if he studied Goliath, exploited a weakness nobody else saw, and executed one of the most calculated battlefield strategies in ancient history? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never see this story the same way again. It's around 1000 BC. The Israelites and the Philistines are locked in a standoff in the valley of Elah. This isn't just a skirmish. It's a conflict that could determine which nation dominates the region. And the Philistines have a secret weapon. His name is Goliath, and the Bible is very specific about this man. 1 Samuel chapter 17 tells us, he stood 6 cubits and a span tall. That's somewhere between 6 foot, 9 and 9 feet tall, depending on the cubit you use. Modern scholars lean toward 6'9" to 7 feet 2 inches. Still an absolute monster of a man. Goliath's armor alone weighed 125 pounds, roughly the weight of an average adult human. His iron spear tip weighed 15 pounds. He was essentially a walking tank. Every morning and every evening for 40 days, Goliath walked into that valley and issued a challenge. Send one man to fight me. If he wins, we serve you. If I win, you serve us. 40 days. Nobody moved. Not one Israelite soldier dared step forward, and they were terrified. King Saul was terrified. His entire army, trained, battle-hardened soldiers, were paralyzed by this one man. So what does that tell us? It tells us that in conventional warfare, Goliath was unbeatable. David wasn't a soldier. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, sent to the front lines just to deliver food. He was probably a teenager. But here's the thing about David that most people miss. He was already a killer, not of men, but of lions and bears. He tells King Saul straight up, "Your servant has killed both lions and bears, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them." This kid had hunted apex predators with his bare hands to protect his sheep. So David had already developed something most of Saul's soldiers hadn't: experience fighting creatures bigger and stronger than himself. And then David does something absolutely crucial. King Saul offers him armor, a bronze helmet, a coat of mail, a sword. David tries it on and takes it all off. He said, "I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them." He refused conventional warfare. He refused to fight Goliath's fight. He walked out with a staff, 5 smooth stones, and a sling. Here is where military historians, including Malcolm Gladwell, in his book David and Goliath, have pointed out what the ancient world already understood. But we have forgotten, in ancient armies, there were 3 types of fighters: cavalry, heavy infantry, and projectile warriors. These formed a kind of ancient rock-paper-scissors. Heavy infantry beats cavalry. Cavalry beats projectile warriors. And projectile warriors, slingers, archers, beat heavy infantry. Ancient slingers were not toy users. A trained slinger could hurl a lead or stone projectile at speeds of 100 to 150 miles per hour, comparable to a modern fastball. The Roman army had entire professional slinger units. They were elite weapons. Goliath was the ultimate heavy infantryman. Massive armor, massive spear, designed for close-range combat. He was built for sword fights. He was not built to fight a sniper. The moment David picked up that sling, he changed the entire category of the fight. He didn't play Goliath's game. He invented a new game, one where Goliath had no defense. And look at what Goliath says when he sees David approaching. "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" He's confused. He's insulted. He expected a warrior in armor with a sword. He got a kid with a slingshot. Goliath never even had time to process what was happening. David ran toward Goliath. Not walking, not hesitating, running. He was closing the gap before Goliath could react, whirling the sling overhead, and released at precisely the right moment. The stone hit Goliath in the forehead, the one spot not covered by his helmet, and sank in. Goliath fell face first to the ground. One shot. Perfect accuracy. It wasn't luck. It was precision developed from years of protecting sheep. But here's where it gets even more fascinating and a little bit dark. Some medical researchers have proposed that Goliath may have suffered from acromegaly, a condition caused by a tumor on the pituitary gland that causes abnormal growth. It would explain his extraordinary size. But here's the side effect of acromegaly that changes everything. It causes severe double vision and restricted peripheral sight. Think about that for a second. The Bible says Goliath needed a shield bearer to walk in front of him. It mentions he said, "Come to me," rather than approaching David himself. Some scholars believe he literally could not see David clearly as the boy ran toward him. David may have intuitively known, or simply observed, that Goliath moved strangely, that his reactions were slow, that something was off. He ran at a man who couldn't properly track a moving target. He used a weapon that outranged anything Goliath carried, and he aimed for the only exposed part of a fully armored giant. This wasn't a miracle of luck. This was reconnaissance, strategy, and execution. David didn't just defeat a giant. He redefined what victory looks like for every underdog that came after him. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you're standing in your own valley of Elah, staring at something that looks impossible, you'll remember that the shepherd boy didn't pick up a sword. He picked up what he knew, and he ran toward the giant. If you found this breakdown mind-blowing, drop a comment. What biblical battle should we break down next? I read every single one. Subscribe if you're new. We do deep dives like this every week. And share this with someone who needs to hear that being the underdog isn't a disadvantage, it's a superpower. See you in the next one.